Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first lecture of the series Introduction to Toy Design. My name is Dr. Supradip Das. I am an assistant professor at the Department of Design at IIT Guwahati. And I have put together this course for you to get you industry ready. Before we dive into toy design, this lecture will help you build the foundation. We will begin with the most basic question: what exactly is a toy? Then we will look at what does not qualify as a toy, even if children play with it. From there, we will explore why toys matter, not just for fun, but for early experiences like exploration, imagination, and emotional grounding. We will understand the toy needs pyramid, a designer friendly model inspired by Maslow that helps us see how toys support layered needs. And finally, we will look at how toys reflect society, culture, and values, and transition naturally into next section on the distinction between toys, play, games, and puzzles. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to do more than define a toy. You will be able to evaluate whether something functions as a toy from a designer's perspective. You will understand why toys matter in childhood experiences and how they create pathways for exploration, comfort, imagination, and mastery. You will also start building your analytical lens, the ability to observe a toy and ask, what need does this serve? What experience does it enable? What does it communicate emotionally or culturally? This foundation will help you approach all future lectures as emerging toy designers. Let us start with deceptively simple question: what exactly is a toy? And equally important, what is not a toy? When I ask students what is a toy, the answer I usually get is anything a child can play with can be a toy. Children have a magical ability to transform the world around them. They can turn the same plank of wood into a car by imagining wheels on it, or into a baby by just wrapping it in some cloth. They have the imagination to turn a simple biscuit into anything they want. Look at these examples on the screen. In this case, a biscuit is transformed into a spinning wheel when rotated and marked with simple patterns using a marker. It creates engaging optical illusions as the disc spins. Here, a biscuit is turned into a type of spinning disc toy that operates using a string. The string is pulled to make the disc rotate rapidly, which often produces a buzzing sound. With the help of an axle attachment, biscuits are turned into simple push wheel toy. When pushed forward, the biscuit rolls smoothly, turning into a playful motion. Further, biscuits are turned into construction blocks with slots to connect them together. Here, a structure is formed by joining multiple pieces of the same. Can these items be considered toys? Not quite. Anything can be a plaything, but not everything qualifies as a toy. Let us understand why. Let us see how toys are defined. According to the USA ASTM classification, a toy is any object designed, manufactured, or marketed as a plaything for children under 14 years of age. Here, ASTM is an abbreviation for the American Society for Testing and Materials. It is important to note that ASTM F963 is the mandatory US consumer safety standard for toys. According to European standards EN71, a toy is any product or material designed or intended, whether or not exclusively for use in play by children under 14. The European Union Toy Safety Directive is a legislative framework established by the European Union to ensure the safety of toys sold within its member states. The directive sets out essential safety requirements that toys must meet to protect the health and safety of the children. Since Indian standard IS 9873 is largely based upon existing standards in the European Union EN71 and in the United States of America ASTM F963, I am not discussing separately here about IS 9873. David Myers, a toy theorist, states that any material object can be considered a toy if it is meant to be used for play. So, for something to be a toy, its intention matters. Intention created either by the designer or the manufacturer or the marketer. Let us revisit our slides with the biscuits. Edible biscuits are food products intended for consumption. That means biscuits lack intention to play as toy, set by the designer, manufacturer, or marketer. Thus, it cannot be a toy. Clearly, apart from intention, there are a few other parameters we should consider as well. David Myers argues that category of toy has clear boundaries and that certain things cannot be considered toys even if children play with them. These boundaries help us understand the design requirements of toys. What material, behaviors, and conceptual qualities make something safe, playable, and flexible. Myers identifies three material limitations, factors rooted in the physical properties of an object. These limits prevent something from belonging to the toy category. The first category is certainly safety. A toy cannot be materially harmful to the child. Examples: scissors, knife, radioactive material, sharp metal tools. These objects can be played with, but they cannot be toys. Key aspects include absence of small parts that pose choking hazards for young children, non-toxic materials free from harmful chemicals like lead, and thallets, no sharp edges, points or pinch points, secure battery compartment, and appropriate cord lengths. The second is resilience, that is, material durability. A toy must survive handling, squeezing, dropping, chewing without being destroyed. Some objects simply don't afford stable, repeatable, or meaningful play. Disposable, fragile, meltable, easily breakable items such as objects that disintegrate, melt, or break on first use, or these objects that don't afford repeatable, expressive play. These objects break, rot, tear, or cannot withstand repeated use, so they fail the durability requirement. So the reason these biscuit toys are not really toys is simple. While they are safe, they lack the possibility of repeated play. Why? Because they are not durable. In fact, they are fragile and therefore they will not last long. Key aspects include use of wood or high quality plastic such as high density polyethylene, that is HDPE, low density polyethylene, that is LDPE, expanded polypropylene, EPP, etc. to ensure longevity and avoid breakage. Toys involving building and repeated explorations. Involving task with toys build a child's belief in their own abilities, offering open-ended play to encourage creative solutions. The third is affordability or material access. A toy must be materially accessible, something the child can physically handle. For example, real mountains, clouds, and oceans. These can inspire play, but a child cannot act upon them physically as objects, so they cannot be toys. However, a physical replica of the same, which a child can interact with as tangible objects, can be classified as a toy. So the key aspects include: a toy must exist as a physical object that a child can touch, hold, and manipulate. The child should be able to act upon the toy through play, not just observe or imagine it. Unlike abstract or unreachable elements, the toy must be materially present and usable. The toy can realistically be owned, handled, and integrate into everyday play. Myers also explained that toys have conceptual limits. Limits not in the material, but in the ideas that the object represents. These limits determine whether a child can freely manipulate the meaning of the object, such as imaginative flexibility. A toy cannot be conceptually rigid or inflexible. Example are moral laws or social dictates. These are concepts children cannot bend or reinterpret, so they cannot function as toys. Even if we are teaching social norms, we should include flexibility. Here is a traffic signal toy that has imagination, flexibility, that allows children to integrate it into a variety of play scenarios, from simple traffic management to complex, real-world role-playing. A child can include roadblocks, new level of realism and excitement, which enhances the overall play experiences. So, the key aspects include a toy should allow children to freely reinterpret its meaning. The toy must not conceptually rigid or fixed. Children should be able to alter roles, rules, and narratives during the play. Abstract, non bendable ideas cannot function as toys because they resist reinterpretation. Then there is a conceptual resilience, which means a toy's meaning must survive being altered or reinterpreted by the player. Example of things too conceptually delicate to be toys are games or living beings. For example, if you break the rules of chess, it's no longer chess. If you treat a living animal as if it were a toy, you may harm it. Their meaning collapses when misused, so they cannot be toys. However, stuffed model in the form of animals are considered as plush toys or stuffed toys. So the key aspects includes the toy retains its identity even when its use or meaning is altered. Play does not depend on fixed rules for the toy to remain valid. Children can reinterpret, repurpose, or imagine new roles without breaking the toy's concept. The toy remains a toy even when used in unintended or unconventional ways. Its concept does not collapse under bending, improvisation, or experimentation. And lastly, there is cognitive affordability, which means the toy's concept must be accessible to the child's imagination. So things that are too abstract, like multidimensional objects or quantifiers of infinite recursion in programming languages, will not qualify as toys, as these are too complex to be played with meaningfully. However, coding related physical blocks that simplify complex computational concepts by employing tangible, modular interfaces that map abstract commands to visible cause and effect physical actions can be considered as toys. So, key aspects include the toys concept can be easily grasped and imagined by the child. The idea behind the toy is not overly abstract or intellectually demanding. The child can meaningfully play with the idea, not just observe it. The toy matches the child's stage of thinking and understanding. Highly abstract concepts like coding with deep nesting or multidimensional molecular structure are too complex to support play. Instead, these concepts should be simplified through stories and tangible elements to visualize concepts without advanced reasoning. So, the summary is an object that is not safe, resilient, and accessible cannot be a toy. Also, an object that is not imaginatively flexible, conceptually resilient, cognitively affordable is not a toy. Myers point out a fascinating paradox. A toy must be materially safe, yet the toy should also be conceptually transgressive, meaning a toy cannot physically harm a child, but it should allow transgression, bending rules, fantasy, and imaginative freedom. This is why educational toys sometimes struggle. The more they fix meaning, this is a math toy, the less imaginative flexibility they offer. Like, this can be anything you want. The US standard further defines what is not a toy. We know that a toy is an object designed, manufactured, or marketed as a plaything for children under 14 years of age, but does not include bicycles, tricycles, non powered or recreational scooters, and pocket bikes, slingshots, and sharp pointed darts, playground equipment, non powered guns, kites, hobby and art or craft items, or model kit where the object does not have any play value. Sporting or camping goods, athletic equipment, musical instrument, juvenile products, and furniture. You must have noticed that I have included a few asterisks against some of the categories in the previous slides. This is because although the Consumers Product Safety Improvement Act CPSIA defines this as not toys, many of these standards include them within the definition of toys, with specific clauses like size, height, etc., such as kites, ride on, with and without pedals, such as wagons and balance bikes, tricycles, skates, scooters, and skateboards, as well as powered ride-ons that may be powered by battery or movement, as well as playground equipment such as outdoor gym centers, swing sets, trampoline, sandboxes, water table, and picnic tables made for children. Also include children's outdoor patio and beach furniture. Some of these items can be used indoors as well, such as ball pits, beach tents, etc. And musical instruments, junior size or full sized, that are created for use by preschoolers. They may or may not have some type of recorded music, but do allow the child to play and create sounds. So now that you have a theoretical understanding of what a toy is and what a toy is not, can you guess which of the products on the slide would not qualify as toys? The objects that you see on the left are crayons shaped as animals and a sharpener, because the primary intention of these products are not play. They will not be considered as toys. These objects have been given this form to make them more playful, but not for play. They can still be, however, included in art and craft kit that fall under the toy category. If you see on the right side of the slide, both the whistle and the boat that will be considered as a toy according to the BIS standard of India, because they have intention to play. Let us come back to what Mayers has to say. A true toy must be something a child can control, manipulate, and express themselves through. Not just something they happen to touch or interact with temporarily. So the next time someone says anything playful can be a toy, you can confidently tell them, no, anything can be a plaything, but Toys need a designer, a manufacturer, a marketer, someone who sets the intention to play. And toys must follow safety, durability, and usability requirements that random objects simply don't. Now that we understand what is a toy and what is not a toy, we need to understand why we need toys, specifically since children can turn any object into plaything. When we think of toys, we often think of fun first, but toys do something much deeper. They enables a child's development in ways that are natural, joyful, and self-driven. Toys invite children to explore, test ideas, imagine possibilities, and repeat functions until they make sense of the world. And what makes toys powerful is that children learn without being taught. Let's look at how toys enable different kinds of early experiences. Toys enables exploration. Imagine how a child rolls a ball just to see where it goes. Exploration is the foundation of learning. Children understand their world by touching, pushing, pulling, bending, twisting, stacking, and manipulating objects. Toys enable exploration when they offer affordances, little invitation to act. A toy that rolls invites chasing. A toy that twists invites investigation. A toy with holes invites threading. A toy with moving parts invites cause and effect discovery. Designers create exploration by offering just enough complexity to spark action, but not so much that the toy becomes overwhelming or closed. Exploration grows in response to opportunities, and toys are physical opportunities designed with purpose. Toys enable curiosity. Like a 2-year-old pressing buttons on a busy board to discover surprises, curiosity begins with the question, what happens if? And good toy design intentionally provokes that question. A toy that responds when a child shakes, taps, rotates, or opens it naturally makes them want to repeat the action, compare outcomes, and test alternatives. Curiosity is an accident. It is engineered through small surprises, gentle unpredictability, responsive feedback, noble actions, and sensory variety. When designers create toys that reward exploration with discovery, they nurture the natural scientist in every child. Toys enable sensory stimulation. Through textures, sounds, colors, sensory exploration is how young children organize information. They do not begin with concepts, they begin with sensations. Toys intentionally designed with contrasting textures, gentle sounds, moving patterns, or visual depth help children make sense of their world. A smooth curve and a rough edge teach comparison. A soft toy and a rigid toy teach contrast. A toy that lights up slowly teaches anticipation. The designer's role is to offer rich sensory pathways without overstimulating the child. Toys support emerging imagination, like a child turning a block into a phone. Imagination thrives when toys leave room to be interpreted. When a toy does not dictate a story, children create their own. A simple figure can become a hero, a parent, a monster, a friend. A set of blocks can become a city, a forest, a spaceship, a bed. Designers create imagination by stripping away unnecessary detail and emphasizing possibility over prescription. The less the toy insists on what it is, the more the child can decide what it becomes. Last but not least, toys enable all kinds of development. Toys support physical development when they invite movement through reaching, grasping, pulling, balancing, rolling, throwing, climbing. Design choices like size, weight, texture, and resistance help refine coordination. Toys support cognitive growth when designers build in patterns, sequence, challenges, comparison, and casual actions. A toy can teach prediction, memory, logic, and experimentation without ever teaching anything directly. Toys support socio-economic development by enabling collaboration, negotiation, role play, emotional expression, and comfort. Designers create these experiences through shared play, affordances, open-ended narratives, and comforting sensory choices. This brings us to really important idea, the toy need pyramid. This pyramid is inspired by Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which says humans first need basics like safety and comfort before they can move to belonging, confidence, creativity, and self-actualization. Akin to how Maslow's pyramid explains human motivation, the toy needs pyramid helps us understand what toys offer children in layers. Just like Maslow says, humans must first meet basic needs before reaching creativity and self-expression. Children also meet their needs through the toy in stages. From very simple sensory experiences all the way to personalization and mastery. Let's explore this pyramid by starting from the bottom and working our way up. At the base of the pyramid is direct experience. This is the child's first point of contact with a toy. How it looks, sound, feels, sometimes even tastes. This is where sensory appeal lives: bright colors, gentle rattling sound, soft textures. The toy must attract the child's attention and invite them to interact. This layer aligns with Maslow's physiological needs, the basic sensory stimulation that makes the world feel rich and responsive. If a toy cannot capture a child's senses, it cannot support the layers above. The next level is convenience and safety. A toy may be attractive, but if it's unsafe, sharp, toxic, too heavy, or too complicated for the child, the experience collapses. This layer matches Maslow's safety needs. Children need to feel physically safe to explore freely. Designers therefore must ensure safe materials, smooth edges, correct sizing, stable construction, predictable behaviors. A toy cannot be educational, emotional, or innovative if it is not safe first. The third level is where the magic begins: emotional change during play. This includes delight, surprise, joy, engagement, immersion. This is where toys bring fun, novelty, and innovation into a child's experience. This layer reflects Maslow's belonging stage, the emotional correction and comfort a child feels through play. A toy becomes memorable when it creates a personal emotional experience for the child. Toys also hold emotional meaning. A teddy, a soft toy, a comfort object often become companions, especially during moments of change. They help children regulate emotions, feel secure, and make sense of big feelings. The fourth layer is called comparative advantage, which might sound technical but simply means how does this toy help a child feel a sense of achievement? Children naturally compare their abilities. You will hear it in statements like, I built a taller tower, I solved the puzzle faster, look what I made. This is where toys support identity, confidence, admiration, social affirmation. These connect with Maslow's esteem needs, the desire to feel capable and valued. Not all toys reach this level, but the ones that do often become favorite. At the top of the toy needs pyramid is personalization. This is the highest level where toys adapt to the unique needs, preferences, and abilities of each child. This includes toys that have difficulty levels, can be customized, allow creative freedom, support special needs, grow with the child. This corresponds to Maslow's self actualization, the child expressing individuality, imagination, mastery. When a toy reaches this level, it becomes more than a toy, it becomes a partner in the child's growth. As a toy designer, this pyramid is incredibly important because it shows that child's needs from a toy are layered, not flat. It reminds us that a toy must succeed at the lower level before it can deliver the higher ones. If the toy does not meet basic sensory appeal or safety, it cannot create emotional engagement, confidence, or personalization. This helps designers prioritize what truly matters in early stages. It gives us a framework to design with clear purpose. Are we designing primarily for sensory experiences, for emotional engagement, for achievement and mastery, or for personalization? It guides feature decisions. Every feature, color, texture, challenge level, customization, correspond to a different level of needs. Design becomes intentional, not accidental. It ensures safety and usability before innovation. We often get excited about making toys novel or clever, but the pyramid reminds us that safety and ease of use are foundational. Innovation belongs after these needs are met. It helps us design emotionally meaningful toys. If we want a toy to be loved, kept, remembered, it must create emotional change during play, fun, surprise, delight, immersion. This sit at the core of the pyramid and shapes the child's bond with the toy. It enables toys to support achievement, confidence, and identity. The comparative advantage layer shows that older children look for toys that help them feel capable, building something better, faster, or more creatively. As designer, we can incorporate adjustable challenges to support this. It shows the value of personalization. At the top of the pyramid, it is the idea that toys should adapt to different abilities, preferences, mode of play. This might mean adjustable settings, multiple ways to play, or designs that welcome different types of children. In short, the toy needs pyramid helps designer think like psychologist and play researcher, seeing toys not just as object but as tools that support a child's layered needs, from basic sensory engagement to mastery and self-expression. So far, we have discussed individual needs of a toy. But toys don't exist in isolation. They are shaped by and also shape the culture we grow up in. Just like stories, music, and traditions, toys carry meaning. They reflect what a society celebrates, what it teaches, and what it hopes children will grow into. Toys often reflect what a society aspires toward. That's why we see toys that represent scientists, astronauts, engineers, farmers, firefighters. These toys celebrate qualities like courage, intelligence, exploration, and problem solving. They show children the future we imagine for them. Toys also carry cultural identity. Puppets, folk characters, traditional building sets. These are ways culture is passed from one generation to the next. Toys also reflect language, festivals, crafts, and community stories. They keep traditions alive in playful forms. And in recent years, toys have begun to reflect our values of inclusion and diversity. With dolls in different skin tones, dolls with disabilities, and gender neutral action figures. Toys mirror what we celebrate, what we teach, and what we hope the next generation will grow into. Now ask yourself, what toys did you grow up with? And what did they say about your aspirations or your environment or what your culture valued? Let us meet in lecture 2, where we will discuss on toy versus puzzle versus games. Till then, have fun field time.